Call 1-800-COMPLEX for a free consultation or visit us online at gpwlaw.com.
Local news, local topics, local conversation. You're listening to AM Beaver County on 95.7 FM, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and 1460 WMBA. Presented by St. Barnabas and streaming live at beavercountyradio.com.
It's currently 8:36 on this Monday morning, September 19th. Outside it is 65 degrees and cloudy, might be raining. And on your dial, it is Beaver County Radio, and we're back on AM Beaver County talking with Kim Villella and Mario Leone, who are now in studio with me. Good morning to the both of you.
Morning.
Morning, Matt.
So today we're talking about a festival that's been going on for, I believe, a couple of years now, and it is returning this year. It is the Ambridge Festival of Churches. It's taking place this Saturday, the 24th. And let's start by talking about, for those who are relatively unaware of what exactly this is, because they may hear that name and think, I'm not so sure what that is. Is this a new thing? Is it a new thing? Is it a brand new thing, or what's the history behind it?
Well, Matt, for years, probably for the last 10 years or so, Ambridge sponsored a fall festival. And then Tina Fidio Miller, who is a councilwoman there, wanted to expand that festival. So people still in Ambridge love the old nationality days. It's still a topic of discussion on a weekly basis. So Tina and I joined together, and we came up with Ambridge Fall Festival of the Churches. And the reason that we named it that is when you talked about nationality days, everyone's comment was, I wished it would go back to the churches. But it's hard to go back to something that doesn't really exist.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the churches that were in the original nationality days. But we did model this festival as close to the original nationality days as possible.
Yeah, and you bring up a very good point that, the churches, especially over the last several years, a lot, with conglomeration and churches coming together. I know we were talking with St. Luke the Evangelist several weeks ago, and they had their festival, and how all of that has changed over the course of the last several years, that, there just aren't as many churches anymore in any borough or any city, let alone Ambridge. And so to have every stop being what it is, like it used to be, isn't quite the same anymore. So now you have this festival of churches. And Mario, what has been the planning behind this festival? Like, what's the plan for those who are going to show up on Saturday? What are they going to end up doing?
Okay, so we have all the churches will have their booths. There'll be all kinds of ethnic foods that they'll be selling. I can run down them here real quick, but we have the First Baptist Church. They'll be selling pizza, and then we get into the ethnics. St. Mary's Byzantine with pierogies, halushki, the St. Peter and Paul. They also are going to have pierogies and halushki. Holy Ghost Orthodox, kibasi, sauerkraut, pascha bread. St. Mary's Coptic will have grape leaves, chicken kebabs, baklava. We've got the First Baptist Missionary Church is going to be selling sweet potato pie and baked goods. We got the Zion's First Lutheran and United Presbyterian. Those two churches merged. They're going to be selling apple dumplings, and I got to put this plug in too, also with Brewster's ice cream. And New Hope Church has barbecue pulled pork, mac and cheese. We got the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church with their gyros and Greek pastries, and then St. Luke's. This is the new name of the Good Samaritan Church. They're going to have meatball sandwiches. So we've got all this wonderful ethnic foods, and pick your choice.
My stomach's already yelling, stop the count. That is so many different foods. And it sounds not, again, we talk about churches, we talk about the different cultures that they've brought, going back to the days of steel mills. And a lot of that was centered around the different foods that they had. And this is an example of that, because on the one side you have sort of the traditional Eastern European with the pierogi and the halushki. But you also have the stuff like the chicken kebabs and the baklava, and more Americanized stuff such as the pulled pork and the mac and cheese. And it's not just that, but I mean, that is a big part of that. But it's also all the different cultural aspects as far as music and pageantry that these churches will be putting on display this Saturday.
Yes. So we'll have entertainment throughout the day. The various churches will be doing their ethnic music and dances. And Kim, you may be able to elaborate on that a little more as well.
Yes, the Tamburitzans will be there. Polka Bob's coming back. We have the Holy Trinity Greek dancers will be there. Jim Tobin and the Dewey Decimators. And then some of the churches like New Hope, their worship band will be performing along with First Missionaries praise team and a few other great musicians. So we do have a full day of lineup. And when Mario was talking about the food, I think another important aspect is like a lot of the churches, and we have 12 of our churches in the festival this year, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But even the churches, they don't have the resources, say, to put on a 3-day event,
Right.
like Nationality Days used to be. Some of them do not even have the resources to put on a 1-day event. But we solve that issue by partnering with our local businesses. So like Mario said that they're supporting the United Presbyterian and Zion Lutheran from Brewster's. But some of the other partnerships that we formed was Vicelli's will be there supporting First Baptist. And Fritzy's, which is a local restaurant, will be supporting one of our churches. So we included, and instead of taking away from our local food vendors or business owners there, they're included in the festival, along with a lot of our nonprofit organizations. So Ambridge Band will be there selling stuff, and the basketball team, the cheerleaders, and different local organizations. So it does benefit and brings the entire community together, Matt, which I think is awesome.
It's very fascinating because you don't often hear about that too much anymore, where businesses and parts of the community are helping out the churches. I mean, you do in some capacity, but ultimately on this grand of a scale where all the churches are gathering together to sort of help and promote one another, and the borough itself is coming together to help out these churches. It's a symbiotic relationship you really don't see that much anymore. And I give credit to all the local businesses in Ambridge that are coming out to help these churches this Saturday, because like you said, Kim, they need the help. They need the help to, celebrate days like these, celebrate their heritage, celebrate their traditions, and allow others to do that as well. Because it's not a matter of, oh, my church is better than your church. No, it's just a celebration of all the different cultures and ways of worship that take place in Ambridge, and not just that, but throughout all of Beaver County as well.
Right. And we have such a strong church history in Ambridge, and a thriving community. Our religious community is thriving. And I personally love that out of this festival, when Tina and I created it, it has bonded and created such a coalition among the churches that they go and help each other. So if St. Mary's needs help on Fridays with pierogies, St. Luke's people are there helping them. And the pastors, meet frequently for coffee and pray for our community. And I think that is one of the positives that has helped turn to Ambridge around, too.
Yeah, add that, Mario? Or...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it is a conduit that really pulls the community together with the collaboration of all the churches. And one that we didn't mention was the Trinity Ministry and their school. I mean, what an institution, and what they provide to the community as well.
Yeah, I think people forget that we have a Bible college there in Ambridge, right on the main street, and they are such an asset to our community.
They are, and they have been for many years, and it does kind of get overlooked sometimes, but ultimately it is part of Ambridge, just like all the historical factors, whether it be the local businesses or the churches. Now, if somebody is looking for information on this event, let's say they're listening and they're thinking, okay, I'd like to have like an itinerary or any type of, set times of when things are going to happen, how would they find that information?
They can find it on the Ambridge Borough website. That's Ambridge Borough, BORO.org, and also our Facebook page.
And we'll have links to that coming up later on this morning at beavercountyradio.com. And again, I think I hear a dozen churches in all that are going to be participating in this on Saturday.
Yes. And all the children's activities. So the Borough of Ambridge provides everything free for our children. And some of the activities that they have is there will be pumpkin painting, there will be a petting zoo, there'll be cookie decorating, face painting. There's a cool train that's coming to town. There'll be free train rides, pony rides, petting zoos. So it gives our children, some of the children in our area would never experience, riding on a pony if it wasn't for the Borough of Ambridge and this festival and the resources that they have pulled together. So we're very grateful for their involvement in the community and the people that live there.
Not to mention, too, as was mentioned earlier, that the level of participation that the borough is putting into this festival, again, because it could just be the churches doing their own thing and, the borough granting, okay, you can use that space, okay, you can use these tables, but they're putting in this extra effort to push this along. And one question I have is, for those who are thinking about helping out, is there any room for volunteering this Saturday, or is everything pretty much set in stone at this point?
I'm sure that day we need help setting up, and then obviously the event concludes at 6:00, so we'll appreciate any help tearing down and cleaning up as well.
And all they would have to do is contact the borough if they want to, or would they just find somebody along the way that day?
Well, if they want to contact in advance, that'll be great. We can put them on the schedule and somewhere where we're looking for some extra help. But otherwise, just show up and reach out to somebody. I believe most of the volunteers will be wearing like a turquoise shirt. Is that the color we decided on?
Yeah, there's turquoise and yellow. And then also, Matt, for the parade. So there's a parade that kicks this festival off at 11 o'clock. So the parade starts, it comes down from 4th to PJ Call Park on 11th. And then we have an opening ceremony that will be welcomed by our borough manager, Mario. And then Rob Matzy, our state representative, will be the MC. One thing that starts the festival that I think is very cool, and we're thankful for Rob that he donated. At 12 o'clock, all the church bells in Ambridge rings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have little bells, 250 bells for all the kids, and it's called the Ringing of the Bells ceremony. So the bells ring, and that's what kicks off the ceremony. So it does have a lot of cool little unique aspects to this festival that are meaningful to us in Ambridge. But volunteers, Tina will definitely, and it's, again, this event is sponsored by Ambridge Parks and Recreation and all the sponsors. So we have a lot of businesses that contribute different sponsorship levels. And Tina's still accepting any sponsorship. So volunteers to help with any of the children's activities, to help with the parade, just give the borough a call and get your name on the list.
And that's good information to have, too, because, like we said, along with the volunteerism, just like anything else with helping out these churches putting on their booze and their food for the week and for the day itself, they're going to need that extra little bit of business help. So if anybody wants to sponsor and help out in that regard, they can do so as well. But I'm very intrigued to hear what exactly that's going to sound like, that ringing of the bells, because you figure with that many church bells and that many bells in the streets, I mean, you could probably be sitting in traffic in Pittsburgh and hearing that from miles away, because that's going to be
we hope
yeah. But again, the Ambridge Festival of Church is taking place. The parade starts at 11. The ringing of the bells takes place at noon, and the event runs until 6. And how's the parking situation down there? It's just going to be a matter of come down and find a place?
Yeah, but the borough municipal facility, and then we have the park and ride, the Pat and Beaver County Transit parking lot area as well. And then other than that, just navigate yourself through the borough and wherever you find a spot.
Now, is it going to be headquartered? I know Kim was saying that the opening ceremonies are sort of taking place near PJ Call Park. Is that sort of where the event's going to be headquartered at, or
Yes,
is it going to be all throughout town?
Yeah. The parade will start at 4th and Merchant, and it'll proceed down to 11th Street and concluding at PJ Call Park, and then the festivities start, and we celebrate until 6. And I'd be remiss to say it's going to be a great day in Ambridge, and put on your marathon shoes because you can roll over to Jambridge. It's another festival that's coinciding with this event. So come down, get your ethnic food from all the churches, support them, and then continue the evening a little further down the street.
That is a good point, because I mean because in my mind going into today, I'm thinking, man, there's really a lot of stuff going on in Ambridge, and sure enough, that's all sort of going on at the same time with Jambridge and the festival churches. So if you're even in the walking distance of that, if you live in Ambridge, you're going to have a very busy festive day coming up this Saturday. And again, it just shows all the different, because you have the traditional side with all of the churches gathering together, providing their food and their entertainment, and the other side is sort of the modern side of it with Jambridge, and it's all coming together to, and I've been talking with, you, Mario, and you, Kim, and also with Duke about all of the different sort of elevations that Ambridge has been taking over the last several years. This is another example of that.
Right. And I believe Jambridge, they'll be running until 11 o'clock. So,
yes. Yeah.
So that's a great place after you're done at the festival of churches. And they're almost butted right next against each other. So
that's true.
Everybody will Merchant Street will be open for business. That's for sure.
And that's the one thing you want at this time of year, is to have everything open, because, now that we're heading into the holidays, now we're heading into fall, it's, that time of year where everybody in town sort of gathers together, whether it's for Friday night football or weekend activities or homecomings, anything like that. This is that time of year.
Yeah, and with COVID, so we haven't had the festival the past 2 years. So we're glad to be back. And our last festival, we had over a few thousand people in attendance, and that's what we're expecting again, and that's what the churches are preparing for. And I know Jambridge is preparing for massive crowds. So I say, Matt, Ambridge will be the place to be this weekend for sure.
Oh, I'll take that a little further. I think it's the place to be every weekend.
Yeah, true.
I said it's nationality days every day in Ambridge with the diverse food ethnicity of restaurants that we have, and the amount of churches, and that it's literally festival of churches every day. We're just kicking it up a little bit this weekend to truly recognize them all.
And I think you guys are doing a fantastic job of that, because I mean, like Kim said, post COVID, it's this will serve as a reminder that, not only can things take place, but things and gatherings that were once there can take place. And now you have this festival of churches returning, you have Jambridge coming in, and just all of this festive activity taking place. It is going to be a great, great sight to see once again. Is there any other information that you guys want to alleviate, or I think we haven't mentioned?
Yeah.
Just to give a special thanks to Kim and the committee, Tina Miller, and
the churches,
the rec board, for all their hard work and pulling this together. Because without their effort, this wouldn't be happening. So special thanks to all of them.
Yes, and shout out to Tina too for helping set up this interview this morning, because she was one of the first people I called. Actually, I think it might have been you as the first person I contacted, Mario, and then you said talk to Tina, and then Tina said, okay, I got reached out back to them, and just sort of ping-ponging around before we got this. But I'm glad that you guys could come in today and talk about that, because it sounds like it's going to be a great, great time on Saturday. It looks like the weather's going to be holding up. Nice fall weather finally coming in, so I think it's going to be a great time to be in Ambridge. Like Mario said, every day, but Saturday most likely for sure. So thank you both for coming in today to talk about that again, and thank you for sharing all that with us.
Thanks,
Well,
Matt.
Absolutely.
Love to come here.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming on anytime. You're listening to AM Beaver County. Teleform is on the way, coming up in just a few minutes.
Join Beaver County Radio this Saturday at the second annual Recovery Walk.